Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Favorite Bands A to Z, Day 2. We arrived, of course, on the letter B. What's interesting is we've done these sorts of shows before. I think it's almost as fun for me to see everybody's comments trying to guess who I'm going to pick next for the following episode. Today should come as no surprise. George Lemmy, if you're watching, you were spot on with your picks for me, your best guesses, and you were absolutely correct. Again, B, no big surprise here. Everybody knows I'm going to pick my favorite band with the letter B is Black Sabbath, right? Gave it away with the shirt. My favorite album. This was a no-brainer as you're going to get in this series from me. There's a couple letters that, right off the bat, wow, we know automatically what B's going to be. We pretty much know what D's going to be. I think we know what W's going to be. I think we know what R is going to be. We probably know what L is going to be. It's all the others in between that I think offer up a lot of, pondering as to what I'll choose. So, yes, Black Sabbath. I mean, I don't know what more needs to be said. Black Sabbath for me was the game changer band. I was a Kiss fan. Was the first kind of heavy band that I was into. But then as I started to mature a little bit and get a little bit older, I still liked Kiss, but I started to branch out into bands like, Electric Light Orchestra and Paul McCartney and Wings and a little bit of Kansas and Boston and Meatloaf and a little bit of Genesis and The Who and Steve Miller Band and Styx and all that kind of stuff. But it was I believe it was 1979, when I got a hold of, I went over to a buddy's house. I've told this story before. I went over to a friend's house. He's like, I picked up this new album at a flea market or something. He goes, you got to check it out. And I go over there. My mother drops me off at his house, spend the day together, and he puts on Black Sabbath Paranoid. And I was like, holy moly, this is amazing. I somehow convinced him to trade me that album for something else. I couldn't even remember what we traded, but I wound up in possession of that Paranoid LP, and that was a game changer for me, an absolute game changer. I've never been the same since. That was my kind of gateway into the much heavier music. Obviously, Kiss is heavy enough, but Black Sabbath on a different level, and that opened the doors for, the Scorpions and the Judas Priests and the Iron Maidens to follow. Of course, Deep Purple I got into right around the same time. Led Zeppelin I was also getting into right around the same time. So, there has spawned a lifelong obsession with this band that, has been either my number one or number two band for my whole life. Since I first listened to them. It's between Deep Purple and Black Sabbath. They have jockeyed for position. Every decade or so, I kind of change my tune, and I'll say I favor one over the other. For the last decade or so, I've been saying Deep Purple's number one, Black Sabbath's number two. I got to say, of late, I've been listening to a hell of a lot more Black Sabbath, and I think the pendulum is starting to swing the other way. So I might be off into, and it is 2021, isn't it? I might be off into a Sabbath is number one decade here, right? So now at 55 years old, right? I can't tell you how many times this has happened in my life, but it is what it is, right? So, and I have to pick Volume 4 as my favorite album from them. It's eclectic, it's heavy, it's experimental. I've loved it since the first time I heard it. And, there's, for me, some absolutely standout tracks. My favorite Sabbath song of all time is on here. That's Snowblind. I absolutely adore Wheels of Confusion. Tomorrow's Dream. Supernaut is absolutely killer. And then you've got, St. Vitus' Dance, Under the Sun, Laguna Sunrise, Cornucopia. Then you have Changes, FX. So there's stellar stuff on here. Unlike a lot of people, I like the production on the album. I like the fact that it's kind of murky and dark and experimental. I dig it. Could pick any one of the Sabbath classics. The first three obviously are great. Self-Titled, Paranoid, Master of Reality, amazing. Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Sabotage, amazing. Heaven and Hell, Mob Rules, Born Again, 7-Star, amazing. I mean, those are all my favorite albums from them. But I'm going to go with Volume 4. Black Sabbath is my favorite band that starts with B. The runner-up, however, also was kind of a no-brainer. There were a few bands that were jockeying for position. So it's, would Pete pick Budgie? Would Pete pick Boston? Would Pete pick Jeff Beck? Would Pete pick the Beatles? When it came down to it, got to go with the other half of the black and blue tandem, Blue Oyster Cult, one of my favorite New York bands of all time, and I just love these guys. Secret Treaties is my pick for my favorite album from them. I just love BOC. I like the fact that they, you listen to their catalog, and every album sounds different than the one that came before it. Great songs, lots of hooks. Some of it's really heavy, some of it's a little more on the poppy side. Some of it's a little psychedelic. Some of it's kind of proggy. I think they gave you a little bit of everything each and every time they put out an album. And quite frankly, their most recent one, The Symbol Remains, I absolutely love. I'm still listening to that. That was my favorite album of last year. But, for me, their drop dead classic is Secret Treaties. Career of Evil, Subhuman, Dominance and Submission, ME262, Crazy Cretins, Harvest the Revised, Flame and Telepaths, Astronomy. Man, if that isn't a perfect album, I don't know what is. So there you have my picks for today for the letter B. Favorite album and band, Black Sabbath. Runner-up, Blue Oyster Cult, Secret Treaties. The Black and Blue Attack wins out today over a lot of other really good bands that start with B. So in the comments below, please add in your favorite band that begins with B and your runner-up and pick your favorite album from each one. And stay tuned for tomorrow morning because, of course, what comes next? The letter C, right? So that is coming up. I'm still not 100% sure on my pick for C. You know what? When I originally was set to do this show, what I did was me and Word documents and spreadsheets where I got to keep track of all this shit that I do here on the channel. So I did like A through Z, and I filled out all the ones I knew instantly, and then some of the other ones I'm like, all right, I think I'm going to pick this band or this artist. And some of the really tough letters, I have like 3, 4, or 5 honorable mentions, and I do that because I'm really not 100% sure who I'm going to pick yet. And I might not know C till tomorrow morning, right before I record. So we'll see. I think I have an idea, but I keep thinking, one of the other bands I'm considering, I love a good chunk of a chunk of their catalog, and I detest the rest of it. Is that enough to have them win out? I don't know. So we'll see. My other consideration is it's kind of a band, kind of a guy. How do I go with it? Is it really C? Is it not? I don't know. You probably know what I'm talking about. So I have my work cut out for me for tomorrow morning. So we'll see how it all rolls out, right? So this is on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're on YouTube all the damn time. I do want to make a correction. So on last night's inaugural episode of the Guitarist Corner, I was talking about my picks, and I'm gushing about Wishbone Ash, and I incorrectly said Martin Turner on co-lead guitar instead of Ted Turner. I don't know why I did that, because I'm a huge Wishbone Ash fan, and of course I know the difference between the two of those guys, but it happens because I got the olds. So apologies to Ted. You were the one I should have mentioned, not Martin. Martin, great bass player, great vocalist. He ain't a guitar player, so it should have been Andy Powell and Ted Turner, not Martin Turner. Just wanted to clarify that. I kind of thought, it's funny because I kind of thought I said it incorrectly after we got done with the episode, and I was thinking about it because sometimes when you make a brain fart like that, it kind of sticks in your head like, did I say it? Did I not? And then I immediately saw in the comments that people were already saying, a couple people were like, Pete, it's Ted Turner, not Martin Turner. And I'm like, and they're not related. Look, I know they're not related, and I know Ted's the guitar player. It happens, guys. It happens. So anyway, thanks for watching upcoming programming. So we got, today is What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility Day, so expect a couple new product reviews for you today, including the new EP from Rhapsody of Fire. We've got the new Mahogany Frog, and I'm gonna hopefully get to the new Terra Odivum. So that's what's kind of on tap for today. I was kind of hoping to get to the new Thunder Horse, but that'll probably be saved for next week. And definitely next week, review of the brand new Gentle Giant Steven Wilson remix of Freehand. So that should be coming up next week, and I'm hoping, I think I got 2 guys I'd like to help me out with that. So stay tuned for that, and a lot more here on the channel. Monsters Den coming up tomorrow. All right, Chris Allo, Rich Catino, and myself are going to talk about some films that we used to really like when we were younger, and now maybe we don't dig so much anymore, and vice versa. All right, films we used to think kind of sucked, and now as we've gotten older, we're like, yeah, that's a pretty good horror film. So that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. And then Friday at the Funhouse with Martin Popoff. This coming Friday, we're going to be talking about guilty pleasure bands. So stay tuned for all that and a lot more here on the channel. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to make a channel donation, we got the link to our Ko-Fi page below, as well as our merch page, where you got all the Sea of Tranquility catchphrase shirts, as well as logo shirts, Monsters Den, comic book geezers, Hudson Valley Squares, all sorts of fun stuff. So check that out. It's all below in the video description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later on. Bye-bye.